I'm Warren Davis, and you're watching the Evercade Effect.
Evercade Effect.
Hey everybody, this is Ed. Welcome to the Evercade Effect, and today I'm just very excited to go over my top 5 games from Konami that I would love to see come to Evercade. And these are games that I really enjoyed growing up that I'm going to go ahead and share with you all. And for the parameters of this video, I said it's strictly just a console, even though yes, Konami does have some fantastic arcade games. The console games are what's the most nostalgic to me. So, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with number 5. Oh yeah, Russian Attack. Which did come out for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1988. And I remember first playing this game, actually in the arcade, before I was able to play it on the NES. But that's how I knew about it, and I could remember renting this and playing at home. And yeah, well, the graphics are very different, not as good as the arcade. Still, I think the graphics are still really good for an 8-bit Nintendo, and I really do feel like this captures the essence of the arcade. Right, the play controls are good. It is a one-hit death, just like the arcade. But that adds to a lot of the replayability and fun. I love these kind of games where you have limited continues and you have limited health. It just really makes the game more challenging and has more replay. So you can see here jumping over the landmines. You do have to use up. There is no jump button traditionally in games. Even though in the arcade we did have a button to shoot your weapon, and also another button to jump. So you press up. It's not really too big of a deal. You just have to get used to it, and I think that really translates well, to the home console. And yes, this is a very challenging game. It's one of those ones I have not yet to complete. I forget. I think that I don't know. I think maybe as a kid I've gotten to like the 3rd level or so. I don't know. I'll have to re-see playing this one as an adult. But yeah, this gets a top 5 on my list. While it is one of my favorite Konami games, it's not the best Konami game. I love this intro for Castlevania III for the NES. So yeah, this one came out in 1990. Oh my God, such a great game though. I love this, and I'm going to talk about here why in a moment. Why this gets, why Castlevania 3 gets this number 4 spot, and particularly why not, like Castlevania 1 or 2 for the NES. So first off, you just heard the music, and it is just so good. It's so good. One of the things I love about this game is the branching paths and the fact that you can have other characters join your party. This really adds just to the replayability and gives you tons of options. For example, one of the levels, I'm gonna get this pirate guy, right, who can jump on the ceilings and kind of climb around and jump really high. But the trade-off is has a short dagger. However, there's certain spots in the game where if you do pick him, you can be rewarded. You can take shortcuts and things. And then another character is Alucard, a vampire. I mean, how cool is it to be able to be a vampire in this game? It kind of shoots with these energy balls and can use his hearts to fly around. And yeah, I'm struggling here to get up the stairs, but yeah, I don't know why. It's just one of those days, or Castlevania stairs. But yeah, so I mean, back then this is just something so new, just to have that. The branching paths wasn't like a huge popular thing, really, in games, especially like action games, action platformer games like this. We really didn't see it that much. Now, Castlevania 1 is just, I love that game. It's a classic, but this is like an upgraded version of that. It follows the same linear progression, has all the enhancements that I talked about, and even the Japanese release of this had that better sound chip. But still, even without that sound chip, I still think the music in this game is awesome. Now, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest is non-linear. It's you have to figure out where to go and all that. Well, it's definitely a Metroidvania. Hence partially where the word comes from. But it is as frustrating as it is fun. Meaning that there's enemies that are just unfair. You just get knocked back way too far. And sometimes, I mean, that game is just a little bit more frustrating than it is fun. Well, it is a classic and all that. That's why this beats out. I think it's like traditional like Castlevania for the Nintendo. I think of this game, and yes, I played the hell out of it as a kid, and yeah, this is just this was just hours and hours of fun. And you can see you still have like your similar items, like the time stop, the dagger, all those excellent weapons are back here. But yeah, this game to this day, I still think, stands the test of time. I absolutely love it. Now, the next game that we're going to go into, this game is extremely, did I say extremely? Nostalgic for me. So, we had Jackal in the number 3 spot. Yes, this came out in 1988. And again, this is another game that was released in the arcade, not to be played at home. Although this one definitely, I played at home first. I didn't find out until the arcade later on. And quite frankly, I think this one controls a lot better than the arcade. So this particular game, oh my god, it just pure Konami magic. It is a single kill. You lose a life. You have 3 continues. So like a common theme with Konami games, you have limited lives, limited continues. This just adds to the replayability. So what I love about this game, you can see from destroying the greenhouses, I was able to power up and get missiles from these other brown houses here. Brown house. I'm able to go ahead and rescue people, and then you get to turn them in, that you'll see here a little bit later in the level, and then you get points, and of course, having a high score, you get extra lives, and you need those extra lives. And if I didn't say we need to continue, start the whole level over. So yeah, definitely you have all those incentives to stay alive. And I just never really kind of played like an overhead game in this kind of way. I mean, sure, there was Zelda and all that, but not something like this. And I can remember getting this. So for me, this was a game that I got for Christmas. I think my parents just thought it looked neat. One of those ones that were just I got randomly bundled to my Nintendo, and I absolutely love it. One of the things I almost did forget to say is that you can do 2 players at the same time. Co-op, oh my god, especially back then, to be able to play with your buddies is huge. I remember playing many, many hours of this with my brother. And it's just something about simultaneously 2-player game co-op that just has made the game like a bazillion times more fun. I sunk so many hours into this game that I could 1cc it. Right, and then I even got to a point where maybe if I died once, like at a final boss or at a certain point, I was like, oh man, that totally shouldn't have happened. One of the things that's neat about that is when I played with my friends and they would blow through all their lives, you can actually steal their player's lives. So I guess I had to, I had to get good. So here we're going to go ahead and we're going to drop all the people off in a second. And this I really like because this would immensely boost up your score, but at the same time you had to watch your surroundings. And that's another neat thing too in this game. When you die, like typical Konami games, you lose all your power-ups. You lose like 1 or 2 people, and so yeah, you can still can still get the people when they they'll move around you, but you got to hurry, right? Again, this game just rewards you for playing really good. Although if you do play really good, then maybe I don't think you need the lives. I don't know. You can see here's the first boss, and I remember the first time playing this. This was just so challenging, and this game was really one of my introductions into just one hit death games in this manner. That wasn't Mario. And so you can see I died there. Now, if I didn't die, you would have seen the splash screen. That was I think it was like, yeah. I forget they yell out, but sometimes it's here, but otherwise it's just like here. So it's kind of added emotion to it, which is just so neat, and you can you can see your progress and all that. So yeah, this game, oh my god. So this one it was just really tough. This almost could have been the number 2 spot, in this one almost could have been interchangeable. I mean it. This was so tough. So yeah, let's go to the number 2 spot. As my shirt says, it is Contra for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1988. So yeah, again, like I said, this was just so tough. But I mean, Contra was just, oh my god. I'm not saying it's the first run and gun. It was the first run and gun that I played. Just done so well. The controls are tight. One-hit kill, you get power-ups. So you can kind of see a similar theme for the kind of games that I like. Limited continues, only 3, unless you know the Konami code. So for me, this is the first game that I played where I was aware of the Konami code, and I was like, oh, this game is actually beatable. But later on, I was able to complete this with a buddy without using the Konami code. I've never been able to beat this solo without using the Konami code. Usually I can get to like level 3 without dying, but I need to play this game more. But this is a game I can really just like jump in and play anytime. I mean, Jackal's like that too, but especially this game, I can jump in and I can just play it. And of course, there I died. And just have a good time. And there's just something so unique. I just really can't explain it. Yes, there's nostalgia, but I just feel like the level design is done good, the fun factor is done good, and just with tight controls, you feel like all the deaths, if you do die, are your fault. There's not really like any cheesiness from the game, and yeah, there's a theme here, which is great games being arcade ports, and I never really played the arcade port later on in life, and the arcade port just seems so different and so weird to me, but hey, if you grew up with the arcade port, that's cool as well. But this game, oh yeah, there's just some magic behind it that I think like running on games haven't been able to capture since then. So yeah, that's why this gets my number 2 spot. However, the next game that I'm going to show you might just be my favorite, one of my favorite Super Nintendo games, and this next game here is just going to be like my favorite Castlevania game of all time. Just listen. Yes, I mean there were just like some Konami games that started with that great sound. So that sound itself is just like super nostalgic for me. So yeah, this came out for the Super Nintendo, in 1991, and wow, did this game just blow me away at the time. Like it's even like entering in your name and all that, and seeing this screen, getting ready to enter the castle, and the music. Oh my God, the one thing Konami did so well with this game is they just captured the atmosphere, right? Like I feel transported like back to a different time. I feel like Simon the Vampire Hunter, and this was definitely like a major upgrade just from the way that Simon moves his whip. You can attack in all directions. We could even use our whip to swing, and that was huge because it's the first Castlevania where you could actually jump down thrust to get enemies above you diagonally. I played a lot like Contra, actually, which is neat. But it still had all the same themes, the same weapons. The game is still tough. I just Konami did this so well. I mean, yeah, you're gonna have your favorite Castlevania. This one is fun. And look at that. And this one also, this game used mode 7. I mean, just look at these backgrounds. Look, you could interact and go back there, and it was just, I love this. I was so drawn into it. And this is one of those games I can play at any time, just between the graphic design and the music and the atmosphere. It sucks you in. And yes, it had a password system. I'm glad that they continued that throughout pretty much all the Castlevanias. Still didn't get a save on the cart, but. Yeah, that's fine too. So yeah, there's the iconic boomerang. So yeah, that's why this gets the number 1 spot. Castlevania is one of my all-time favorite franchises, but really it was just difficult between picking Jackal and Contra. They almost all could be interchangeable, but this one is just slightly above it. So yeah, that's what we have for my number 1 pick. All right, so you've seen my top 5 picks. Let's go ahead and get a conversation going in the chat. What are your top 5 Konami games that you would like to see? Come to the Evercade. It can be console, it can be arcade. I choose to do consoles. I said in the beginning of the video that was the most iconic to me. But yeah, I really do like to get a conversation going, and I'd be curious. Also, let me know, did I nail it? Am I off my rocker? Do you have similar picks and all that? Because strongly, I feel that we need an Evercade collection this year. And if you haven't checked out my surveys in the community tab at the time of recording this video, I've been asking about Konami, and you all have been picking. So far that's been picking out over the favorite collections. But yeah, you'll just have to check that out to see what I mean. But if you happen to stumble to this video through the YouTubeverse and you like what you see, please consider subscribing to the channel for this type of content. I've been streaming a couple times per week, as well as I do a podcast called Evercast every single Saturday with me and my buddies, and we talk about everything Evercade related. Also, at the time of recording this video, my birthday show, the Drunken Retro Gaming Special, will air, and that's going to be at April 29th. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I would love to have you there. I'm gonna be having I'm gonna be drinking beer during it, playing retro games, and not just not just limited to Evercade, just limited just to my favorite like indie and retro games. So it's going to be a great hangout, and I would like to go ahead and see you there. And if you did make it this far in the video and you want to show your appreciation, yeah, go ahead and put the blue and blonde-haired twins in the comments. The blue and blonde-haired twins in the comments to let me know that you watch us to the end. We also have channel memberships if you're into that. And I also have a P.O. box in the description below. As long as somebody sends me something, it'll keep the P.O. box alive, and I'll unbox it. And I'll make a video if you'd like to donate to something cool to the channel. So now I'm going to go ahead and thank my channel members. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Thank you, Crashline, Mr. Shua, and the Immortal Sojourn!